I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I'm just gonna chat super quick about uh, market share with real estate agents and how it's changing so much, especially with AI coming into our industry so heavily. So before we get into our presentation with Homier, I'm just gonna take a couple minutes here to go over what used to be essentially the 80/20 rule of, there's 20% of the agents doing 80% or the other way around. Um, that is no longer. So we used to have a pretty fat chunk at the top of, 20, 25% of the real estate agents doing the bulk of the business out there. And actually, that number is shrinking up considerably. And this is why webinars like today are so important, to get the information that you need so that you don't get left behind in this new era of AI in the real estate industry. So yes, 20% of the agents are no longer doing the bulk of the business. It's actually a lot worse than that and accelerating over the next couple of years as AI becomes more ingrained into our lives, both as real estate agents and the consumers. The traditional 80/20 rule in real estate is broken down post-COVID era, but not because the market became more balanced. It's the combination of high mortgage rates, inventory, and the fallout from the NAR lawsuit settlement. So um, it's created a massive production imbalance in today's market, and I'm sure a lot of you might be feeling that. So today, an elite group of roughly 10 to 15 agents meaning teams, things like that, are driving the overwhelming majority of real estate sales, while a massive long tail of part-time or unsystemized agents are fighting over the crumbs, essentially. So the core statistics here, the 15% shift is real. Two major independent real estate studies recently exposed just how extreme the consolidation has become. We've got the zero deal squeeze in data presented by Redfin. I'm sure you guys all heard this one. I think it was last year it came out. A staggering 71% of active real estate agents closed exactly zero deals in a single calendar year. When nearly three-quarters of the licensed pool fails to close a transaction, the remaining active agents capture everything. Listing consolidation, a comprehensive study by Realtix analyzing 5.5 million listings across 150 US markets revealed that the top 10% of listing agents controlled 42 and a half of available listings. This represented a massive 16.6 year-over-year increase in inventory consolidation by lead agents. And the quarterly velocity, industry benchmarks indicate that the top 10% of producers now close more transaction volume in a single quarter than the bottom 71% of agents do in an entire year. These numbers are pretty terrible. I can sympathize with everybody here. So, what we want to do is, how can we get out from under this? And this is what we're going to touch on today. So, year over year, the 5 year widening of the production gap to see how the 80/20 rule warped from or into the 80/15 reality and is moving into a 90/10 crunch and even worse. You have to look at how the total pool of transactions shrank while the number of licensed agents remained high. So we didn't really see that drop off of agents that we thought we were going to see. So year 22 or 2022, um, the median transaction per agent was about 12 sides. That was about your average agent. Most agents were selling, about that, regardless of market. Um, the total existing home sales was 5.03 million. The peak turn, the market began cooling from pandemic highs. Data showed the top 25% agents controlled roughly 75% of the business. So that 80/20 rule was, kind of in effect there. Move on to 23, sales dip, 4.09 million. That's a lot. Agents moved down to about 10 sides as the median. We're not talking average, we're talking median. Inventory freeze, sales plummeted to their lowest level since 95. The median individual transaction count dropped Casual and part-time agents begin losing market share to hyper-experienced veterans. On to 24, 4.06 million in sales, so even less than 23. We're still looking at about 10 sides on the median. The structural break, sales tied historic lows, yet NAR agent count stayed near 1.5 million. Redfin dropped the bombshell stat that 71% of active agents closed zero deals, basically proving that the top 15 were now keeping the industry afloat. Last year, 4.06 million. So we're staying pretty steady from 24 to 25, but transaction sides are now starting to dip. Now we're down to 9 sides on the median. Settlement squeeze, so new business rules took effect. Top 10% of agents expanded their listing grip by 16.6%, taking nearly 43% of all active listings as rate sellers sought out proven hyper producers. And I highlighted that because this is something that we're going to kind of touch on today on how you can be that proven hyper producer that is getting recommended now. Now we're in 26. We have 4.1 million projected, so even less sales than last year or the year before. Now we're looking at 9 to 10 sides. We'll see how the back half of the year goes, but the tech and systems divide. The gap is at an all-time high. The bottom half of the industry is hollowing out. Top teams averaging 32 plus sides and individual tech-forward agents utilizing modern workflows are capturing the bulk of the remaining market volume. Why the trend is continuing, the market has shifted from an environment based on affinity, meaning hiring a friend or a relative who has a license, to an environment based on authority. So hiring an expert who knows how to navigate complex rules and get a home found online. Now, we all know with AI search, I mean, obviously this can be manipulated a little bit. I mean, you could be a brand new agent potentially, but know how to essentially game the system and be the one that's recommended. So even though the consumer may say who is the best in this area, that actually might not be true, but we're going to start touching on how do you at least get to that position where you can put your hat in the ring regardless of your experience. So when an inventory is historically low, a listing or buyer lead becomes incredibly valuable. Top producing agents invest heavily in systematic advantages, automated database nurturing, AI-driven speed to lead tools, aggressive digital marketing. And I have always been a proponent of having a very strong digital footprint. It's in my 30-day success program. And this is even more true now today than it's ever been. Uh, because they possess the infrastructure to convert leads instantly, they naturally accumulate more listings, leaving the unsystematized 85% of agents further and further behind. So let's not be in that statistic. Let's push our businesses forward. So 5 years ago, yeah, the part-time agent could rely on their immediate sphere of influence to scrape together 5 or 6 deals a year. Today, with listings down, competition fierce, the top 15% of agents have institutionalized their lead gen. If you aren't using modern tools to build your digital authority, you're not just competing with agents anymore. You're trying to compete with systems that don't sleep. So, and we do have this available now as well with Lofty. It's probably the number one, agent operating system, CRM, website altogether, out there right now. So let's look at some quick projections before we move on. So by looking at the current 2026 projection, telemetry, I can't say that word, and mapping out the next 2 years, data analysts project a massive spike in per agent productivity for those who adopt agentic workflows, contrasted against complete stagnation of those who do not. So what they're saying is, if you're not at least implementing some of this, it's gonna get worse actually. So here's some numbers. I'm not going to run through the whole thing, but between a non-AI or a passive AI agent, meaning you maybe use AI to research a little bit, to someone using agentic AI-enabled agents, which we will also be talking about in later weeks and months. Um, So you can just see, I mean, you're working against a machine essentially from those agents that are using the agentic. And if you want a copy of this with the numbers, you want to look through them, I can provide it. So the 10% squeeze, industry analysts estimate by 2028 the production gap will narrow even further. The 15% of agents doing the bulk of sales that we're seeing right now will contract to an elite probably 8 to 10% of tech orchestrated agents controlling nearly the entire housing market. Um, so the death of information asymmetry by 2028, the real estate search is projected to move from standard keyword filtering, such as three bedroom, two bath home, to hyper personalized matching engines. Buyers will use AI to search lifestyle vectors, find a home within 20 minutes of my office with natural morning light and a neighborhood trending up in tech jobs. So this is stuff that people will begin searching instead of find me a home in X city with three bedrooms under $1 million. It's going to be much more detailed, and it's already becoming much more detailed, and that's why you see, the major search portals switching over to um, search engine like this instead of the filtered searches. So how can you become the agent that's recommended when someone is searching these types of things. And that's what we're going to be touching on here in a sec. Agents who know how to optimize their digital presence or AI searches will capture 100% of these buyers. Agents who rely solely on old SEO or legacy portal ads will become invisible. So in the past, the difference between a top producer and an average agent was headcount and capital. AI is changing our industry at a mind-boggling speed. I'm sure we all feel it. By 2027, an agent without AI systems isn't just working harder, they're mathematically incapable of competing with the speed, capacity, and the reach of agentic competitors. The 80-20 rule is dead. We're moving into a 90-10 reality probably by the end of this year. And it's going to continue that trend for the foreseeable future that I can see. So with that, those stats, I say, let's go ahead and move on to Homier, who we've had on a few times now. They've got a great product, but today we're going to learn from them on how we can become that agent that is being recommended by AI, because there are so many consumers using AI now to find their local real estate office or their local realtor, and they're asking AI many different questions. And so how do we become one of the suggested people? And I'm going to let Addie go ahead and take it over from home here. Addie, how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having us, Travis. And it's awesome to see some familiar names in the attendees as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Addie, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Homier. My CTO co-founder, Chris, is also on the line. Hey, Chris. But for the most part, I'll be doing the presentation today on the Realtor AI recommends. So a little bit about me, in case you don't know. So my name is Addie, and I spent my entire career as an AI data scientist at tech startups that have gone on to be acquired by Fortune 500 companies. And on the side, I have actually been selling, buying, and developing homes in Southern California with my husband. And so that's when I really noticed the stark kind of lack of tech integration in a lot of the work that we do as real estate professionals. So Chris and I decided to team up to really um, bridge the gap between technology and the real estate industry that it's facing. And today, today's session, as Travis alluded to, will be really hyper focusing on how to be more recommendable by the different AI platforms like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, etc. As I go through this presentation, feel free to stop or stop me at any point or ask questions, so it could be as engaging as possible. High level, what we're going to cover today is number one, how AI tools actually find realtors. Then we'll dive right into why most agent websites are invisible to AI. Then we're gonna talk about some real things you can do. So 5 things that AI needs to recommend you that you don't need another engineer or a data scientist for. And then 4 quick wins, that you can do immediately this week. And then if we have time at the end, we'll move on to some Q&A. All right. So diving right in, the way buyers and sellers find agents is changing fast. As you saw from Travis's, presentation right before mine, you see that the pattern and the behaviors of not only buyers and sellers, but also agents, ourselves are changing. And so, how buyers and sellers used to find an agent in the Google era is you guys might already be very familiar with this. They go into Google, they type in a search, they scan maybe the first 10 to 20 results, click on some of the links, maybe click on Zillow, Realtor.com, Google Business, check out the reviews. And if there's an agent's website associated, in the first 10 or so links, then you also click on that. Then you pick up your phone, call, or you email the agent. This has now completely changed. So in today's AI era, we now ask ChatGPT or Claude, and I do this with like finding restaurants or like what type of new music artists or things like that that are coming up as well. But people now open up ChatGPT and Claude, and they will ask a question that is personal and specific to them, such as I want an agent that's bilingual in the South Bay of the Southern California or something like that. Then ChatGPT is going to give 1 to 3 direct recommendations by name of these realtors, and it'll of course give you reasons as to why this agent fits your original prompt. And then within that reasoning, they will most likely have the realtor's website if it exists. And then you click on that website, and then you again pick up the phone, submit an interest form, etc. And the reality of it is that realtors never really even know that they were being searched. Um, and so that's really the difference now, the shift between the Google era and now the AI era. So then let's kind of look under the hood of what happens when somebody asks AI about you. So a buyer or seller might say, who is the best real estate agent for first-time buyers in San Diego, California? Then what the AI is going to do is look through all publicly available information it can find online, and then it will fit the agent that fits the best with the description that the user had put in. So number one, we put Travis here as an example. Travis Brayton at um, Rise Realty, his website clearly explains his first-time buyer program and has detailed neighborhood guides for San Diego. So that's a perfect match as to a first-time buyer and the location San Diego. Then the AI might also recommend a few others, such as Carlos here. His site included a step-by-step buyer's guide, and he also mentions that he specializes in FHA and down payment assistance programs, which may be very relevant for first-time home buyers. Moving on to some blind spots. So, what AI sees on a typical agent site and why it's not recommendable. Number one, a lot of agent realtor sites have, welcome messages or greetings that have no clear, specialty or location. Things like, welcome to my website, or my name is Addie Kim and I'm a realtor, just kind of very generic. Number two, you may have listings flowing in from the IDX feed, which is awesome because you can have integrated your active and sold listings. But if they're not properly formatted, then the AI cannot index the content within it. So you have to be intentional with how you present and display your listings. Three, about me, a lot of times, again, it's vague bio, no market expertise signals. It also helps to kind of highlight your special expertise, maybe even prior to being a realtor if you had expertise there. So really being specific in your about me, that helps. But in a typical agent website, an AI is not able to see that. Fourth, beautiful hero image. So hero images are when you first go into a website and that first image or a video that you see. Those are always beautiful and it captivates a human's attention, but an AI with no text, it has no ability to read that hero image. Contact form. In a lot of cases, in the realtors' websites, there's no information about who you're serving or what your different products are, what kind of questions you can ask. So with that lack of intentionality, again, AI is not able to recommend. And then lastly, testimonials as images. So if you're feeding in Google reviews, Zillow reviews or all of these things without actual text, but more as in a format where it's in images, then again, just like the IDX feed, the AI will not be able to read it and recommend you if somebody were to say, I want a realtor with 5-star rating only. Moving on to some stats. Travis went on this with great detail just now, but now 82% of Americans, it's probably higher now because this stat is from 2025, but in 2025, 82% of Americans were using AI tools to navigate the housing market and inform their real estate decisions. I know personally now I'm using like Homier as a platform, not on the website side, but Homier is a platform to do comp analysis, look at how, price, how to list my listings and various things like that, rather than, traditionally using Google and going into the MLS, downloading, putting in all the filters, downloading the Excel, and then creating formulas to calculate things on my own. So imagine as part of this 82% stat is exactly how buyers and sellers are also looking for realtor recommendations. So the 5 things AI needs to recommend you. So let's really get into the specifics of what you can do here. Number one, you need a clear identity and market. So what the AI needs is it needs to know exactly who you are, where you work, and if you have any specific specialties. So for instance, you want to specifically say on your website, I am a buyer's agent specializing in first-time homeowners in San Gabriel Valley with 9 years of experience across these 3 cities. You want to put this type of information relatively in the beginning or the first paragraph of your homepage rather than the footer. So it's really not just in your about page, but really right up on top, so the AI can easily scan this and recommend you. Number two, hyper local content. So if there's anybody out there that's telling you I can make sure you will be recommended for just a very generic prompt like best realtor in Southern California. They're most likely not being truthful to you. So the more hyper local and specific you can get with how you want to be as a professional, the better it is for the AI to recommend you. So AI looks for specifics like neighborhood expertise signals through things like guides, area pages, market updates. And so those raw listings that you're pulling for MLS, they don't, the IDX, so they don't really count unless they're formatted in the right way. So for instance, if you were to have a 500-word living in North County page covering schools of the North County community vibe and why buyers love it, that's definitely going to help when somebody were to look up, I'm about to sell my North County home. Tell me a real estate agent that would, have excelled in selling homes at or above the list price or something like that. And the tip here is you really don't need too much content. You don't need hundreds and hundreds of pages, but strong, concise yet specific guides outperform a site with 50 thin ones. Number three, readable reviews and testimonials. So AI can read Google reviews and testimonials written in HTML, but not images, PDFs, or screenshots. So if you have a screenshot of Google review that says, Sarah helped us navigate a bidding war in Savannah and we closed 12 days early, if it's in an image, AI cannot pick that up. If you put it in, text, HTML, AI will be able to pick it up. And if you have some sort of automatic feed in of your reviews that is copied over as text, even better. Number four, a specialty or niche. So this is again similar to what we had talked about with the geo, being specific with the geo, but generic realtors are invisible to AI because it recommends specificity. So pick a lane and own it in your content of it. So whether that's being a divorce specialist, a probate expert, first-time buyer coach, luxury, relocation specialist. And really, here is that you don't have to turn away other clients, but you do need to let AI know what you're known for. And then from that point on, you can always expand, what your specialty is, but you do want to be visible to AI by being special, having a specialty or a niche. Number five, crawlable, fast text, rich pages. So AI reads your site like a smart crawler. So if it's all in images, JavaScript rendered or behind a login, AI sees nothing. So your key content loads in plain HTML within 2 seconds. So you shouldn't have like very slow loading text. And critical information should not be behind any clicks. So for the most part, you kind of want to have all of your great, core information on the main page, especially at the higher up in the page. So some pro tip here, and we're going to go over this a little bit more in detail, is use the view page source functionality and read it yourself. If you can't find your content there, chances are AI is not going to be able to read it either. And that means they cannot recommend you. So let's talk about in the next, 5 days or so, what are some quick wins you can do as a realtor without a technical engineer or a data scientist helping you out? So today, immediately, what you can do is, and you might have already done this, but Google yourself and also ask ChatGPT and Claude who the best agent in your city is. And in your city is, you can exchange that with any other specialty or niche that you have. So, for instance, Travis may go into Claude after this meeting today and say, who is the best realtor in North County that is also a broker and has, ample experience buying and selling homes and coaching other agents as well, or something like that. And screenshot what you find. Then tomorrow, rewrite your homepage's first paragraph in this order. Name, so your name, the city, and your specialty, and what type of clients you serve. And make sure how you write that paragraph to actually ties into what you had searched the day before. So if you had searched specifically about North County, make sure how you're rewriting the homepage ties into that. Then day three, add 3 to 5 client testimonials, your best client testimonials as actual text, not images, to your website. And again, it'll be helpful if it's directly in your home main page rather than something you have to click into separately into a tab and then it shows up as a review. Lastly, day four, write a 400 or 500 word neighborhood guide for your top farm area. So whether that be something as, specific as a county or a city or even a neighborhood, um, it's going to be helpful and publish it as a blog post. Extra credit if you can do something like this on a regular basis, such as, quarterly. And if you guys already have a CRM, you can also blast this blog post to your buyers, sellers, and prospects as well. And then link them back to the website. So if they ever want to relook at the blog post, it's right there on your website. And then finally, day five, test your site with the view page source. So we touched upon this a few slides ago, but basically look at the view page source and then see if you yourself as a human can read it. If it's a lot of images and things like that, then you're not going to be able to read it, which means AI won't be able to read it either. Anything you cannot read, make sure to fix it, put it in HTML text format so that you can read it and so AI can also read it. All right. And we hope, those the little homeworks that we outlined here goes well for you. If at any point you want a little more help or support or a bit more instructions on how to do these things, home here. So we build websites, natively so that AI can actually read and recommend it. And so what we do for agents is we build these AI native websites that are from the get-go ready to be readable and discoverable by ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, etc. From day one. We also write up these neighborhood contents for you, hyper local to the area that you're serving, and publish them on a regular basis. We do MLS IDX integration and make sure it's in a format that doesn't hurt the AI discoverability. Lastly, we do AI audits constantly. We say monthly here, but it's happening in the background constantly. We're asking the different AI platforms how they discover your specific prompt And then we are updating in the background your website so that it's fresh to these AIs that are recommending you. All right. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You can also just unmute. I don't know if you guys have the ability to unmute, but drop any questions in the Zoom chat, or if you scan this QR code and fill out a sign-in form, we can also help answer questions more personally.
Awesome. And I think Chris grabbed a question that was in there. Um, I have a couple follow-up points, I guess, with this. And I was actually just talking with our Texas broker this morning and about AI and about this upcoming webinar. And she was saying that it seems like some of these older agents are really kind of falling behind quickly on this, and they are losing some business to newer agents. Business that should have been expected, like sphere of influence type business. And maybe they're not doing a good job, with routine follow-up and things like that. But, I think that the agents that have been in the business a while that have a lot of sales under their belt and maybe they haven't done a good job with their digital presence, this is a real good opportunity because you already have all of that knowledge and sales experience and sphere of influence to pull reviews and all this stuff from expertise essentially to show that you are the authority, and I think it's a really good opportunity because this is all kind of new. I remember when I got in the business, agents were just starting to get websites. And I learned some very, very basic SEO back then when it was, more simpler. And it was basically, a lot of keyword type stuff. It wasn't as competitive as it got or as, um, whatever, as difficult, I guess. Um, and it really boosted my business, and I think we're in that era again a little bit where if you take this information and show the internet, simply by doing these websites and reviews and things like that, that you're an authority in a specific area, I think it would be much simpler for a lot of seasoned agents to be able to rank quickly. I mean, is that something you would agree with, Addie, or um, can anybody just do it? Because I know if you know how to, trick AI or get found, and they're a newer agent, who do you think would maybe do better? Who would be your ideal client, I guess, if you were working
Yeah,
with one of
yeah, I would say, Travis, the agents who have a track record of listings and business, those are ones where like it's a lot more, it's a lot easier because there's a lot more to lean on, right? It's just a
yeah.
matter of bringing that to the forefront and having it be displayed, and then having you be shown as an authority in that market, in that region, and in that specialty, basically. So yeah, we like to work with both, but I'd say that in the case of somebody who has a lot of experience but hasn't worked so much on their online presence, there's just a lot more to draw from there. So, yeah.
So hope isn't lost for some of us old timers
Oh, for
that,
sure. Yeah, definitely not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, because that's what I would think as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, there's a lot you can do. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I think we had a couple other questions. What if you did not have any testimonials for AI to read? How would this be managed so that AI might recommend me?
Yeah, so AI, there's a number of things that the AI can recommend you by. One of them is testimonials, but it's not the only thing. So as you're in the process of getting more reviews and testimonials, we can pull the lever on other things like neighborhood, guides, or a really great sharp bio about yourself, or diving deep into maybe some of the and if you don't have current active listings or closed sales, we can also pull in featured listings where, based on the type of bed and bath or the location they're in, we can still put in features that are relevant to you and the type of clients that you want to represent. And so all of those in combination, it's going to help the AI readability. It's not just the testimonial.
And if it's through IDX, then that is permissible as well.
Yep.
So if you're thinking that that would be advertising another agent's listing, if it's through the IDX feed, then that is permissible. So Question, how can we get an agent website from Homier? Oop, where'd it go? And what's your charge? Also, how do I get a Homier login account?
Yeah, great question. So, for you to get an agent website, just scan the QR code that you currently see, or you can go to homier.com/get started, and then fill out the interest form. And then in terms of the charge, by far, our rates are lower than any other kind of big players out there, but it does depend on how kind of custom and specific you want your website to get. So it's probably best that we chat through that live, once you fill out the get started link. Um, so a good distinction on the Homier login account. So actually, as part of being a Rise Realty agent, you guys get complimentary login access to our Homier platform, which actually is supercharged like market analytics home search platform that you can leverage in your comp analysis and your marketing flyers, whatever have you. And so again, for the Homier login account, just fill out that get started link and then we'll make sure you get a login to Homier platform as well.
Awesome. So, yeah, if you're thinking about a website, I mean, I guess I hear about websites a lot, and agents, do we offer them? What do I do? How do I get traffic to it? Things like that. Some agents just want a website to show proof that they are a real estate agent. They don't plan on doing anything with it. Um, it sounds like you kind of offer both. If someone wants something just kind of simple and clean versus something that, they want it to be built out to work for them, to be found.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, cool. Well, I guess that's what we have for today on this. I do encourage you to work on this a little bit here and there. If you working on website and internet presence and things like that doesn't cost any money if you have time and a low budget. This is definitely stuff you can do on your own. That's how I built my buyer side of my business, ground up many, many years ago, was through internet presence. Um, and it looks like it's, not much has changed. And I think this is how we can really get back in a better position where we can be found now on the internet because, over the past couple decades, it's been virtually impossible unless you were paying Google or Facebook, to drive traffic, because you had the Zillows and all those third-party sites kind of bogarting all of our Google space. They're 1 through 5 ranking, and it was just very difficult for any real estate agent or company to rank above that. And now with you know AI search and how consumers are using AI search, it gives us a fighting chance. So I do really, really encourage getting to know it a little bit, regardless of your feelings of AI. It is necessary to know it a little bit and implement some of these things, because even if you're not going to use AI, if you know how to be found by AI, the consumers are using it. And that's really what you want. So by doing things like the Google reviews and a little bit of website work and things like that, you could be one of the agents that AI is recommending. So it's not necessarily about you embracing it. It's about you being able to found through it, so that you can continue doing well in real estate. So I think that's all the questions in here. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. It's very informative. And if anybody has any questions, you can always reach out to Addie too. It's hello@homier.com. If you didn't get that, then you can just let me know and I'll forward your email over to her. If you have questions about product and, ways that they can help you be found on AI if you don't have the time or the resources to, do it yourself. This is definitely a service that they offer as well. So um, I think that was it. Yep, all the questions. So cool. Appreciate your time and we'll see you next week.
thanks everyone.
All right. Actually, we won't see you next week. It's a bye week. Sorry. So, 4th of July weekend, a lot of people usually take a long holiday, and then our turnout's usually a little low. So yeah, it will be a bye week. We'll send out a reminder, but there is no Monday webinar next week. So, but anyways, have a great week. We'll talk to you later.